What's good, everybody? You know who I am, the Supreme Soup. I thank you for being here today and clicking on my video. Basically, if you're a subscriber, thank you for being subscribed. If you are a first-time viewer, thank you for being here with me. I felt the need to kind of update people on what's been going on with my COVID situation. Obviously, if you don't know already, I had COVID a few months ago, and it was bad. It was real bad. It's not something I recommend putting yourself in danger of catching. But the good news is I've been vaccinated, and they recommend that you should still get vaccinated even after you had corona. So that's what I did. And I want to update people on how my reaction to the vaccine has been for the past few weeks. If you don't already know, my first vaccination was originally scheduled for March 20th, March 30th, 2021, and I caught COVID 10 days before that, tested positive on the 26th, 4 days before my first scheduled vaccination. And so I had to postpone it. And I guess the point of me kind of telling you this all is because I want people to be aware of the comparison between having COVID and having the vaccine. There are a lot of people out there who think that if they get vaccinated, then they're putting themselves at greater risk because we don't know what's in the vaccine, or we don't know what would happen to us. And I'm pretty much gonna, before I answer that, I'm gonna compare the two experiences. I'm not gonna go too far into having COVID. I guess to summarize it, it was a lot of anxiety, a lot of fatigue, a lot of feverish feelings, and the most notable, difficulty breathing. And it definitely freaked me out, and I was definitely worried that I might not have fully recovered. As a lot of people, I think about 1/3 of people who have had COVID do not fully recover. They still have at least one lingering symptom that continues on, perhaps indefinitely. And I didn't want that to be me, so I was, of course, stressing over that, on top of the fact that it was so difficult for me to breathe. I felt like I had to check myself into the ER, and that's what I did. I went to the walk-in the day before, and then, it was 3 bad nights in a row. The first night, I got through it. The second night, I was like, this is terrible. I went to the walk-in after the second night, and then the third night was another really bad night. And I was unable to breathe very well while I was sleeping. And so I ended up going to the emergency room during that night, and I got checked out. My, my body physically, from what the doctor said, was there's nothing wrong with it or nothing that looks too crazy about it. It's just I had to take time to recover. I ended up fully recovering after, I would say 14 days after my initial symptoms is when things stopped being so difficult. Like, I stopped having difficulty breathing, and then slowly for the following I would say week or two after that, I slowly started building my stamina back up, and so by the end of April I was pretty much good. Anyways, needless to say, to summarize, having COVID was at least 2 weeks of not being able to do anything that I liked, having to worry about passing it on to more vulnerable people, worrying about if I pass it to someone and they die, I felt like I would be responsible. Not the type of things you would want to think. It was bad. And on top of that, I can't even begin to go in depth about how I felt like my inability to deal with it had me kind of freaked out. I had thoughts like self-harming thoughts, to be honest. where I was waking up, and anytime I would take a nap, it would be difficult to breathe. I would wake up, jerk up out of my sleep, and be like shaking like you do when you're sick. And it was real restlessness and frustration, and it was pretty much just like not seeing anything positive about the situation. So imagine, being someone who suffers from that long term, which a lot of people do catch COVID and suffer from it long term. Imagine how horrifying that would be. Wouldn't recommend it. Didn't want to take my chances by catching that again, because it probably affects you differently anytime you get it, just like it affects every person differently when they get it. So I scheduled a vaccine as soon as I was feeling better. So my first shot was on April 20th. My experience with that shot was I was fine the day of, and I would say the following day I woke up feeling I would say like congestion in my nose, sore throat, and I don't know about fatigue. It's really hard to remember. Basically, it was just like having a cold for like 3 or 4 days. It lasted longer than I expected. It was actually the first day after having the shot, day or two, where I had the congestion, and the sore throat kind of just lingered for about 4 days. So that was like a longer period of kind of side effects in comparison to my second shot. So that had me kind of worried, because most people's first shot isn't as bad as the second shot. My first shot felt like I had some symptoms, so I was worried the second one would be even worse. And I think the reason that it affected me so differently is because I had COVID prior to getting the shot, and I was worried, like, did I wait long enough? Originally they would say you have immunity for 90 days after having COVID, and they would originally say wait 90 days to get the shot, but I heard different things from people who were administering the vaccine. So boom. Anyways, long story short, I didn't want to wait that long. I didn't want to take my chances, because it seemed like there were a lot of conflicting arguments. So it was better safe than sorry. So I got that first shot. After a few days, I felt better. Second shot, 3 weeks later, which was probably not that long ago from today, May 11th, I got my second shot. And that one affected me, I would say, more strongly, but for a shorter period of time. So after getting that second shot, I woke up the next day, because you don't feel it the day you get the shot. Wake up the following day with soreness. My whole body was pretty much sore, like my back and some abdominal pain. But I think that might have been relating to working out, because I was doing like ab stuff. But I feel like the vaccine kind of accentuates your pain in any muscles that are already experiencing pain. Like, it'll give them more pain. So I had that in my stomach, because that had already started to go down after working out with it, and it came back after the vaccine. My arm, where I got the shot, like, I would say if you do experience any type of pain, is definitely going to start with your arm, wherever you get the shot from, and may or may not spread from there. I had pain in the arm. I had pain in my legs, my abs, and my back. And it lasted for a day. And by that night, the first night of pain, by that time, later that night, it had gone away. And for the most part, like, it had gone down. And then when I went to sleep, I woke up the next day, and then it was pretty much better. So yeah, that's basically it as far as my experience. First shot, longer period of time with mild symptoms. Second shot was more moderate symptoms for a shorter period of time. And that's someone who's had COVID. So being as, there are a lot of people who have doubts about getting vaccinated. I would 100% recommend getting vaccinated. I think it's definitely something you want to do, because if not, I don't know how much longer this is gonna last. And I guess this is like my final say on this whole pandemic related situation. I would definitely recommend it, being someone who's both had COVID and been vaccinated. Being vaccinated, the effects of it are nowhere near what I experienced having COVID. I definitely had difficulty breathing with COVID. I had fever, I had fatigue. Anytime I would work out or do any type of exercise, I didn't even work out. I was just walking around. I would feel tired afterwards and unmotivated to do anything else. And on top of that, like depression, you get depression when you're locked down for 2 weeks, anxiety, and potential organ damage. I don't think I had organ damage, but people who are more severely affected by it could have inflammation in organs that can be permanent, or they can lead to permanent damage. And you don't want that. So, or do you want to give it to anybody who might have those effects? So I would say vaccine, from what I experienced, nothing crazy. My whole family got vaccinated. Nobody's had problems so far besides the short side effects after getting the shots. And I'm in the same boat. I got the shots out the way. I feel better. I feel better that it's gone and it's out the way now. And I feel completely normal. So, yeah, kind of my message to people: if you're feeling doubtful about getting vaccinated, I would definitely recommend it. Don't let people, freak you out with, whatever conspiracies they might have about it. I have like conspiracies about things, but as far as this goes, it's fine. It's safe. Nobody that I know has had any issues with the vaccine. So, boom, go ahead and get you some vaccine and continue to be safe. Enjoy life. Get vaccinated so we can get back to enjoying life. And if you enjoyed this video, I would definitely recommend subscribing, because I got a lot more fun stuff coming soon. I don't normally do like these long talks where I just talk about, boring stuff. I am gonna bring some more reviews soon, more reactions on my Patreon, and more miscellaneous fun things. So subscribe, hit that button, keep in tune. Check out these videos over here if you want to see some of that. Check out these channels, this channel, subscribe, the other channel, music channel, subscribe to that. And that's all I really have to say. Thank you all for watching. More coming soon. Stay tuned. Peace.